right, well, welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the pattern briefing. I know it was kind of boring. Sorry about that. But we're in the plane now. We're at actually runway 14, and we're just looking around, make sure we don't have any traffic coming in, and there's nobody on the runway. I'm using some head tracking software, which is really nice to have, especially for pattern work like this. There's plenty out there. There's OpenTrack. There's, of course, Track IR, which is huge. But there's a few out there, some expensive, some cheap. But we're sitting here now at the old short line. You can see right here. I don't mean to get anybody seasick, so I'll try not to make fast movements. But yeah, so we're going to do our takeoff, and we're going to line up on the runway first. And then we're going to end up going to full power once we're established. And we're going to be looking for 65 to 75 knots, so I'll probably try to take off about 70. And we're going to do this with no flaps. Just a normal takeoff. And again, like I mentioned, these arrows we can use for takeoff as well, but I'll just come up to the numbers anyway. And today, I think on this little flight, we'll do left traffic. So we'll be making left turns with the runway on our left, as I described in the little briefing. All right, let me reset my centered view. And we're looking good to go, so verify, yep, flaps are up. Everything's good. And here we go. We're going to be looking for about 55 is rotate, and then we're going to try to pitch for about 70 to climb out at. So, feet off the brakes, full power. Using our rudders to try to keep center line. Watching for that airspeed to come alive. It's not moving, it's not moving. There, airspeed's alive. We're looking for about 55. Right there, we can start to rotate. And now we'll pitch for about 70. We are now in the the upwind, pitching for 70. And we're going to go to about 900 feet in this case before we make our left crosswind. So now we're watching the altimeter here, trying to keep 70. And trying to maintain 1.4. I'm off to the left a little bit. Trying to trim a little bit as well, so I'm not as all over the controls. Keeping on it. Yep, there's a water tank out there. So let's turn, we're just about there, so let's turn toward that water tank. So 1.4 should be right about on our right side in our compass here now. That's the runway we took off from, and sure enough, there's our runway. So we'll come out this way, continue up to 1,100 feet. We can make our left downwind now. We're just about at 1,100, so I'll reduce power a little bit and try to maintain 1,100. And the compass, we're going to want 1.4 behind us down here. That's the runway we took off from, and yep, there's our runway now down there. And I'm going to try to trim and pitch for maintaining 1,100 feet. And the runway, we're a little close to it. Should be about halfway down the strut. We're a little tight still. I turned a little too early. But our touchdown point is going to be the numbers out here. So when we get to beam the numbers, we'll reduce our throttle. I've climbed a little, reduce power even a little more. And we're just about there. There, beam the numbers, let's pull our carb heat. And reduce to about 1,700 RPM. 17, 16, somewhere in there, it's fine. Okay, and we're going to now pitch for about 80 knots, and we'll put in 10 degrees of flaps once we're inside the white arc here. And we are, so let's put in 10 degrees of flaps. Keep an eye out. Not quite 45. Oop, I want to pitch for 80. RPM's too low. It's a little messy. We haven't done it in a little bit here, so probably turn our left base now. So now we're going to want the 1.4 over here on this mark. So we're waiting for 1.4 to come around. Oh, just passed it a little. Yep, there's our runway over there. So we'll put in another notch of flaps and we're going to pitch for 70. Keeping an eye on the runway. It might be a little low now, so let's increase some throttle. And I'm going to have to start turning final. This is super messy, so apologize. I haven't been using my head tracking all that often, so yeah, see, I almost overshot. And now I'm low, so what I'm going to do is actually add power. Because when you're flying like this, and I'm trying to pitch for 70. When you're flying like this, your pitch for speed and throttle is your altitude. All right, so now we're going to make sure we clear these trees. Yep, I can bring the power back a little bit. And let's go full flaps. And now we can pitch for 70. I'm sorry, 60. Pitch for 60. Throttle's out, we have it made. Super lousy landing. Get down, look to the end of the runway, lift the nose just a little bit. It'll float for a second, but we slightly touch down. Not the best at all. I want to try that one more time. In fact, let's turn around and go the other way, so we can take a look at the PAPI lights. So we'll come off to the side of the runway here. Slow down a bit. And start turning around. Back on the center line. Make sure, oh, flaps are still down. Let's pull them up. Okay. And let's clean up a little bit. We'll put our carb heat in. And looks like we're ready to go. Flaps are up. All right. So we're going to do it this way on 3-2 this time. Then we'll do the left pattern. We'll take a look at the PAPI lights when we come in. Full power. Looking for 65 to 75, so we'll do 70. Rotate at about 55. Watching for that airspeed. It's alive. Here's 50, 55, rotate. Lift the nose a little, and she pops out. Good. And 70. So now we got 3-2 as our heading. So we can keep an eye on 3-2 on our compass, make sure we're maintaining that, and watch it go around us as we go. Again, going to climb up to about 900 feet. Hopefully this one's better. Okay, maintaining 3-2 and 70, so far so good. Keep it on 900 feet. There it is. Let's make our left turn. Put 3-2 on our right side. It's about 1,100 feet. Start reducing the throttle. There's our airport behind us. Yep, still looking all right. Back up to 11. All right, we can turn our left downwind now. Hit 3-2 behind us. So there's our runway over there. That's a little more, about halfway down the strut, so I think we're in a pretty good shape here. I overshot the altitude. It's still a little low at the moment. That's all right. Just trim up a little for that. I'm gonna have to adjust my trim sensitivity. It's actually pretty sensitive. Right about here, we're about off the end of the numbers. So let's pull our carb heat and reduce to about 1600 RPM. Try to maintain our altitude. We're going to pitch for 80. Okay, we're within and just about at 80. Let's do our 10 degrees of flaps. Take a look at where the runway is. It's still back there. Oh, speed. Watch my speed. We need 80. Okay. Let's go ahead and turn our left base and try to maintain 80. We should be good here. Yeah, there's our runway over there. Gonna do another notch of flaps, and now we're gonna pitch for 70. And let's turn final over the road here. Sure, our RPM's still around 1700. Yeah, overshot a little bit, and we're far. So again, not a very good one. But let's put a little bit of throttle in here. Again, maintaining 70. Let's get this back on course here. And remember, if you're low, don't pull up, because you want to maintain your speed with your pitch. It's throttle. More throttle will keep you in the air longer. Less throttle will let you drop and sink. So there's the PAPI lights. It shows red over red. We're too low, right? So we're going to keep this up until we get white over red. Yep, there we go, red over white. So now we're on the right type of glide path. We can bring our back down to 1700. Add the last notch of flaps. Pitch for 60. We still have red over white, so we're good. More throttle. There we go. And flare out. A little high on the flare. Just let it settle. There we go. So it was a bit fast-paced. I hope it made some sense to you. I hope it was all right. Let me put the flaps up, clean up the airplane. And we'll put the carb heat back in. Try to keep it a little bit short, but that's the basics of takeoffs and landings and pattern work in the 152. So takeoff, you rotate, you put your full throttle in, rotate at about 55, which basically means just lift the nose a little bit. And then she'll want to come off the ground when she's ready. But then you just pitch, meaning pull back, push forward to maintain 70 knots, between 65 and 75 knots on takeoff. I just do it in the middle at 70. Um, and then I'll put my parking brake on, and we'll turn off some lights and beacon. I'll leave the beacon on for the moment, and pull my mixture out. Put it back up to 1,000 for a minute, just to get the engine a little bit of run. And pull the mixture out. Pull the throttle all the way back. There we go. It's off, keys off, master switch off, and beacon off. Let's continue for a moment. All right, so yeah, as I said, for takeoff, you want to wait for this to come alive. You go to your full throttle, you go, wait for the airspeed to come alive. Right about 55, you can start to rotate, lift the nose. Pitch for between 65 and 75 for climb out. I just happen to like 70. Get to about 900 feet above ground level. So whatever airport you're at, find out what its elevation is. You can see here we're at 120. So that's why we did an 1,100 foot pattern altitude. So then to get to the 1,000 feet above ground level, maintain that altitude. You have your left base, left downwind, left crosswind, upwind. Hopefully you've got a grasp of that now, at least as best as I'm telling it, which isn't great, but I appreciate you sticking around. And then when you're a beam, I keep saying the numbers because that's where I want to land, but really when you're a beam or right next to where your touchdown point's going to be. If you're in a field somewhere, you say, "Oh, I'm going to touch down there," and that's where in your downwind you want to start pulling your carb heat and reducing your throttle to 1,700 or 1,600 for your approach to your base and final. And then as you slow down to 80, after you pull the throttle back, you put in 10 degrees of flaps, and that should all be done at that last, quarter of your downwind. Then you turn your base leg. Once you're established on base leg, you put in your 20 degrees of flaps and pitch for 70. And then you gauge the runway. And when then you take your left base turn, and not until you've leveled out on your base turn do you really want to put in your last notch of flaps, which will bring you to 30 degrees of flaps. And then you pitch for 60 at that point. And then that, again, if you're low, increase your throttle, don't pull up. If you're high, reduce your throttle, don't push down. You want to maintain your speed with your pitch always. And you can adjust altitude a little bit, or how fast you're descending with your throttle. It's very important on landings, especially. So go ahead and practice that for a bit. I'm going to try to get some more videos out soon. I know I've been a little bit late, but listen, I appreciate all of you again. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, that'd be great. I'm just blown away by all of that. So let me turn this camera off. Here we go. There. But yeah, thank you very much. And don't forget to check out Sim Fanatic. He's got some great streams that he does. Quite comical. Has a lot of fun. Great group of guys over there. And he's got some great insights into sceneries and the differences between MS 2020 and X-Plane and the different simulators that are out there. We just have a blast. And also don't forget to check out Hudson, because he has amazing videos regarding hardware and setups and sensitivities and things of that nature. So check those guys out. The links will be in the description. And hope you guys have a good one. Hope you guys have a great weekend coming up next week with the whole Labor Day weekend. If that's something you celebrate, then I hope you really enjoy it. If not, hey, I will be celebrating it. So have a good weekend then anyway, even if you don't. So anyway, take care, and we'll catch you next time.